Okay, so this is gonna be my next and hopefully the last video about dynamic dependent drop down lists. And if you did watch the other drop down list videos, you've probably seen how I made this project where I have this drop down. You select one of these brands, and then you have basically the models that show up just for that particular brand. So if I go here to this tab, this is basically the way it's laid out. We have this brands here in our C column, and basically on the right we have the models. And depending on which one of these makes we select, so if we go with Ferrari, we should only get models that show up over here. So if I go back here and select this, you're gonna see that the drop down only has those models from that particular make. Now the challenge with this particular way of doing this is that this is only going to work if you just have two boxes side by side that you're trying to use this for. But if you're trying to do this for the whole column, so you want to have this whole column to work the same way, when you select the brand, then you have the models for that brand next to it, this is not going to work. And to make something like this, we're going to have to use app scripts. Now, this is going to be a pretty fun video for me because I haven't done this before, but shouldn't be a problem using app scripts to get this done. It is also probably going to be a long video, but if you know this channel, you know that's not new. It happens all the time. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to restructure this. So I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to first of all delete these first two columns here because we're not going to need that anymore. Now I'm going to also restructure this data the other way, so it's probably nicer for the user. So paste transposed like this. I'm going to delete these rows on top. So now I should have the brands on top and the models in each column. So now I'm going to go back here. First of all, let me remove this data validation. Now here, obviously, we have this. So I'm going to actually remove that as well. I'm going to start over from scratch. So this is where we are. So what we need to do, we need to first make the first data validation tab, which is basically going to be this column. So I'm going to do Control Shift down, starting from the second row on top there. Then I'll do data validation. And then in here, I'm going to select list from range. Now here, I'm going to click on this little select data thing, move this to the right, go to the other tab, and I'm going to select this entire row going all the way to the right. I'm going to include blanks because I'm probably going to be adding more going forward, right? So hit OK, save. And if I go back, that should take care of the first column. So if I go to the top, you'll see how I only have makes from that particular brand. Basically, I have the brand selection drop down, right? Now, the challenging part is to do the model drop down so that if you select, let's say BMW, now you should have a drop down of just BMW brand going to the right. So to do that, we're going to use app scripts. Now, I'm going to go under tools, script editor, and we'll get started with app scripts. So I'm going to click here on title project. Let's give this a name. So drop down lists or something. Hit OK. That should get us started. Now I'm not gonna go through every little thing in app scripts. So if you're completely new to app scripts, it's gonna be difficult to follow this. Basically, if you have been watching at least some of the app scripts videos, you should be fine. Now, if you haven't, at least go back and watch the first couple of app scripts videos so you have some idea what's going on, right, with app scripts. Now, I'm going to start, first of all, by accessing my spreadsheet app and my spreadsheet right here. So I'll create a variable SS, and I'm gonna say spreadsheet app dot, and I'll go ahead and get the active spreadsheet dot get the active sheet in that spreadsheet, and that should do it. Get active spreadsheet, get active sheet. So that's our spreadsheet. So go ahead and save this once in a while. So what I'll need to do, I'll need to basically show you how to do a couple of things. So the first thing is we want some changes to happen when somebody changes something in here in this column of values. So we can do that. I'm gonna actually leave that top one alone, and I'm gonna use this function called onAddit. And onAddit is a special function in spreadsheets, and that's a function that gonna be triggered every time there's a change on the spreadsheet. So for example, if I just, let me just copy this line, put this here, and then say ss.getRange, and let's just do a basic range. So I'll do B2 colon, let me actually use a different column, D2 colon D8, and I'll do dot set value, set value. So, and I'll set it to, I don't know, 999. So just so that you see what's gonna happen, right? So I'm gonna save this. Now I think we may need to get access to the spreadsheet to get this work, but I'm gonna try this anyways. So I'm gonna go back to this drop down, and right now basically we're saying when something changes on our spreadsheet, do this. So if I go back and go here, and let's say just type 23 in here, see, boom, this happened. So if I clean this up, see, again, something changed on a spreadsheet. So every time something changes, this is gonna work out that way. It's just gonna run the actual function automatically. And that's something that we're going to use in our advantage. Now, the second thing we're going to do, we're going to have to limit that only when the change is happening in the first column, only in this, cells that are over here. So we don't want this to trigger every single time, only when we're here. So to do that, we're going to limit it. So basically, we're gonna go ahead and get our SS, which is, well, we already got it here, I guess, our spreadsheet, and we're gonna basically get our active cell, the cell that we're in, and we're gonna get the column of that cell. So basically the get active cell is gonna get us the current cell that we're in, and then the get column is gonna get us what column it's in. So if it's in the first column, then we would like to trigger that. Now I don't want to trigger it when we're changing this label make, so I'm gonna have to also limit it, the row being from the second row and going all the way down, right? So the second thing I'm gonna have to use, so I'll just put it on a separate line right now. I'll just do get row, and that should get us which row that active cell is in. And what I will have to do, I'm gonna just have to do an if statement, and I'm gonna say if this, the column, equals 1, so we're in the first column, right? And then I'm gonna say and At the same time, if the row is greater than 1, so that's our if statement. I'm gonna do my curly brackets. Then I want to run this. So I shouldn't need this. So let's get rid of those. And hopefully if I didn't mistype anything, and by the way, equals, this should be double equals. If not triple equals, but that should be fine. So there we are. So save. Let's go test this out. Now, if I'm changing this, I'm clearing this. See, nothing happens. I go here, nothing happens. If I go here, nothing happens. Now, if I go and change something here, that thing runs because now it's in the range of action. If I remove this, go back here, change it, see, it runs again. Let's change to something different. It runs again. Now if I change this, see, now it happens because we said starting from here and going down. So that's how we can limit when that triggers that action and when it happens, right? So I'm saying if it's in that range, then let's actually run this thing that we run. Okay, so that's something we're gonna have to use in our advantage. So basically our logic is gonna be when we use this drop down and select something, let's see what's in here, and based on that, let's apply a different validation list over here based on this value right there on the left. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, based on what's selected in this cell, right? Let's say we select, I don't know, Toyota in here. So what we want to do, we want to just go and search for that Toyota in this list and find out which item in that list that Toyota is. Is it in the first column, second, third, fourth? Where is it located? That's what we're going to do first. And we'll just, for now, just put the value here on the right someplace. So let's try to do that. So I'm gonna first of all just say D1. Let's put that. And I'm gonna have to go and search in this tab that's called lists, right? So I'm gonna go search in this tab in this range from A1 through I1 and see where that is. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to get all those values here from this tab and put them in a variable. So going back here, I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to call var makes equals. So makes range, I guess. That would be make more sense, maybe. You know what, makes. So I'll just go to the spreadsheet. Now I can't go to the spreadsheet because this is gonna get us the active sheet, so that's no good. Maybe I should restructure this a little bit. So the other thing I'm gonna have to do, data spreadsheet, we'll call it that way, data SS. So we're going to go to our spreadsheet app, and instead of getting to our active spreadsheet, we are, well, basically that's our active spreadsheet, but we're not going to get our active sheet. Instead, we're going to get our, where is it? Get sheet by name. So the sheet is called lists. So lists in quotes. So we're gonna do that, and that's gonna get us that spreadsheet data SS. Now I'm gonna have to go inside of that spreadsheet and get range. And I'm gonna get the range from A1 through I1, right? So I guess that's gonna be, let's actually populate it with a different way. Get range, let's do the full this. So we're gonna start from the first row, first column, and then we're gonna go to the first row, and the column we're gonna get is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For now, I'll just type 9. Maybe later we'll change this to a little something more dynamic. So that's our 9 over there. So you know what? Let's just do it right now. So I'm just gonna take that same data spreadsheet, and I'm gonna get the last column, and I'm gonna say just go to the last column in there. So that should get us our makes. Well, that's not the makes, that's the range of makes. Now inside of that we're gonna do get values, and that should give us an array of makes that we have as a result of this. Now inside of that array of makes, now I'm not sure how exactly that array is gonna come out, so we probably have to just take a look at it. Let's see if we can log this out inside of this onEdit method or not. So I feel like we're not gonna be able to do that, but we'll see in a second. So I'm gonna go here, select this, that ran, and it would put the value. Now let's see the log. So yeah, so good. So we're able to log that out. So basically this is an array inside of an array, and it's just one thing in the array. So if we get to the first thing element, that's going to be our array. That's this array of brands. So that's good. So that means if we go and log out makes 0, which is the first thing in our array. So let's go and change something here again. So it runs. We should be able to see that now it's just an array of those brands. So that's good. Now we want to find out which one of these was actually selected in here. So to do that, I'm gonna go here. So it seems like I'm gonna have to use the active cell a few different times. So for that, I'm gonna create here a variable, or active cell equals this. And then instead of doing this, I'll just replace it with my active cell. Same goes here. And here in my active cell, get value. Let's just try it. We'll find out. So I'm gonna log this out. Save. Now I'm gonna go back and make sure that I'm actually getting the value out of the active cell. So getting back here, let's test it out. So here, this is my active cell. So if I select BMW, I should be getting BMW in my logs. So log, see BMW, and that's the array. Now if I go and redo this again, and I select this, go back here, log, see I'm getting this. So that's good. So I was able to get that.